Satnam, beautiful sovereign woman. I am Jyoti Rajit Kawar with Veronica Berrigan, Iam.com. And today on Sovereign Woman TV, we are going to be learning about what the Age of Aquarius is, both from a Eastern Kundalini Yoga, Yogi Bhajan perspective, as well as a Mayan culture perspective, because there's very many similarities and amazing awareness that we can bring forth with both traditions, as well as I'll be sharing with you right at the end three things you should be doing right now during this age of Aquarius to truly walk in sovereignty and to truly heal yourself, healing all generations before and after you. And as always, thank you so much for liking and subscribing to Sovereign Woman TV below. I do go live every Tuesday and Thursday with Tuesday spiritual sovereignty talks that really relate to healing ourselves and our generations before and after us. And then on Thursdays with a follow up Kundalini Yoga meditation class, a live class, you can join me to truly integrate and process this newfound awareness. So, welcome, welcome, and thank you so much for liking and subscribing. So, today I want to speak about something that I'm truly passionate about, the age of Aquarius. And there's so many people that can really butcher this in new age and totally not understand what opportunity lies at the front for it here, or at the front for all of us to truly integrate ourselves as sovereign beings. And I'll share with you this beautiful quote that Yogi Bhajan was the great master, tantric master, who brought the teachings of Kundalini Yoga from the east to the west. These teachings at one point were only taught to royalty. It is a type of Raj Yoga, which is of royalty. And during the late 60s, being and knowing Joy Bhajan knowing the need and the demand of what was to happen here in the world, especially in the West, which was there was a lot of things happening with people, basically tuning out through drugs and a lot of mental instabilities. And in essence, he brought these teachings to be able to assist the West specifically in the evolving, changing times. And he, in essence, shared this quote with us during this harmonic convergence, which was this great phenomena that happened in the 90s, in essence, where there was a great event where the Mayans were waiting for a great prophecy to come true. But what Yogi Bhajan said was so beautiful about the Mayan civilization. And myself, I was born in Mexico, and I always, of course, have a connection to indigenous culture, and always researched and traveled, of course, to the temples and pyramids of Chichen Itza and places in Mexico and even in Peru, Machu Picchu. But specifically with the Mayans, I always had this incredible just wanting to know more. And there's a more as I do my ancestral karma work, I start to really connect more to this civilization that has so many similarities to Kundalini Yoga. We're now here, fast forward to the here now as a Kundalini Yoga teacher and being part of this lineage of Kundalini Yoga. I can see, how you can connect the dots and see how it's all so much the same and how you can use each of the teachings as a foundational piece for your life to help you really truly evolve and truly be sovereign, like we say in this world, right? And Yogi Bhajan shared this quote from about the Mayan culture that I totally connect with and can relate and can totally agree with. And he said that the Mayan calendar is always correct. He said it has been correct, it will always be correct, and will always be correct forever. He says the Mayans were people who were able to see things beyond reality and between reality and non-reality, and their science was way advanced and was of the mind. They were the people of the mind. He says, whatever you read in the entire Guru Granth Singh, the Mayan people, they knew it by heart already. So he talked incredibly fondly about the Mayan people, and he spoke about how they understood the science of time and the ages and of what's to come. And Yogi Bhajan, when he came and brought these teachings from the east to the west, also spoke of this great time of the age of Aquarius. And just like the Mayan calendar, because a lot of people were afraid that, because the calendar ended in 2012, which really, I'm not going to get into logistics on dates because there's a lot of people that debate that. And most people that truly study Mayan calendar and look at the age of Aquarius and really look at this new time, that because we live in cycles that was coming, it really began around October 2011. That's really when the age of Pisces ended and the age of Aquarius began. And through the teachings of Yogi Bhajan, he says the same, that truly it began in November of 2011, prior to even 2012 hitting the calendar, our calendars. And the Mayans were very intelligent, wise scientists, as you know, and they actually worked out of three different calendars, and one did repeat itself, had 265 days, I believe it was 260 days that did repeat itself. But in essence, the calendar we're talking about today is one that we're talking about that ends this cycle. And astrologers talk about this age and cycle ending in terms of cycles of 2000 and so years. Now, the way this is described is because the way the earth sits, it actually wobbles, right? And as it wobbles, it goes into this axis, and it wobbles every about 24,000 years. And this 24,000 year cycle is then divided into the 12 astrological signs that we all know, like Capricorn, Gemini, Aries, and Pisces, right? And so what the astrologers tell us is that we're leaving this age of Aquarius, which lasted for about 2,000 years, and we're moving into the age of Pisces. And many other spiritual traditions also talked about this, and they called it something else, like the Toltec people. They called it the return of Bolon Yoke Q, right? And so the Egyptians also called it the prophecy of Orion. And the American Cherokee also had the prophecy of the rattlesnake, where there was a great new age, a new dawn of civilization. And if you really study the Mayan calendar again, it wasn't a death. It wasn't, a lot of people thought that that's when this world would go extinct and it would be the end, right? And that really is not the truth. The reality was that they were talking about a great rebirth. And a lot of people know it as the golden age, the age of consciousness, the age of information for sure, but the age of being able to process that and know it instead of just look at it in a book. And so the Piscean age that we're leaving is an age of hierarchy. It really is an age where all the secrets were kept, and there was either a leader, a charismatic leader that you followed, or there was a priest that held the secrets, a spiritual leader, an alchemist, some kind of sorcerer, right? And those books and those secrets were not known to you and I. They were basically, you had to learn from someone else, and you had to believe in something or someone else outside of you. That's the Piscean age. That is what we're moving out of, and what we're moving into is the age of Aquarius. And now the age of Aquarius is nothing like that, because the age of Aquarius is the age of experience, of going beyond the books, and of going from understanding that the answers and the guru you've always been seeking lies within, right? And it's the soul, it's the birth of the soul. It's the birth of higher awareness and of spiritual connection, right? And so as we move into this new age of Aquarius, any Piscean tendencies are being exposed. And that's why you see a lot of chaos in the world. And absolutely, this is bringing out the worst in mankind as well as the best in mankind. It truly, truly is. But it's a sense of detoxification of an old sense of being. And all the spiritual traditions I mentioned right now, they all spoke about this great time. And so many people are afraid because they're so stuck and attached to an old way of being, an old way of healing, an old way of learning. Educational systems are falling apart. Governments are falling apart because those systems, those dogmas, those rules no longer basically are working with this new consciousness and this new age of Aquarius. And this is very important for us to know, for you to know, because the more you're aware of this evolution, the more you can basically balance yourself out and truly be able to walk in sovereignty and move into this new age and allow yourself to evolve, because again, what's not longer working will be exposed and will be brought to the light to be dealt with, right? And so as we move away more and more from the age of Pisces, there's certain things that we must do to be able to evolve, because we're being affected body, mind, and spirit. And the way Yogi Bhajan really explained this is just so clear, because what we're moving into is to becoming multifaceted sensory beings, meaning we truly are becoming more intuitive, we're becoming more self aware, and not only self aware, but more aware of our connection to others, right? And how we affect each other. And so, because we're also in the age of information, and this is what he talked about in the 70s and in the 80s and 90s, he basically spoke about a time where you and I could go and push a button and all the information would be downloaded and we'd have it all there in front of us. And so, this is fantastic. But what's happening is that we are learning more in one day than what our ancestors or brothers and sisters learned back in 1700 in their entire lifetime. And so our lives are changing quickly, meaning time is collapsing faster, right? And our nervous system, which is our processing system, must be upgraded, maintained, and cleaned, because when it's not, which is what's happening right now, it is crashing. It literally is crashing because there's so much information and you don't know how to process it. And so what Joy Bhajan called this was also a state of the cold depression. And the cold depression is basically somebody who, you could be extremely intellectual, you could be extremely smart, right? But you are not, if you don't have a contemplative practice of cleaning out the mind and detoxifying from all these thoughts and all this processing, then you're in essence keeping yourself so busy so you can bypass, and having to deal with yourself. You get to a point when that nervous system just crashes and you're basically dealing with what we know as cold depression. And that is some people where they're feeling great one day, and we see some of my clients are like this, high level CEOs, corporate executives, business owners, entrepreneurs, and they're doing fantastic, in business. But the stress, the demands, and the lack of chi, the lack of life force energy, which is found within through our meditation practice, is basically what's crashing their nervous system. So no longer even their exercise or the physical things that they do are helping them maintain the demands of what the world is demanding of them, because we live in this world where everyone has access to us as well, right? And so this cold depression is serious and it's real, and it's what's happening and affecting so many human beings. And the Mayans also, this was the advisors of these times of also being connected to the natural cycles and still of Gaia herself. When they were basically taken down by the Spanish conquistadores, they in essence were a humanity that was very connected to Gaia and nature. Like Yogi Bhajan just said, scientists, right? So they were very connected to the heart. We're a civilization that's very masculine driven to technology, which is fantastic. But when we forget, the connection of our heart, when we forget the heart is 5,000 times stronger, right, than the mind, and they were of people of the mind, and we combine both, which is the next evolutionary cycle for humanity. This is really the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is not just the Piscean mind, it's really connecting both to the strength and wisdom of the heart and being able to connect that with the mind so that we can become evolved superhumans. And that is truly the sovereign yogis we can all be. And so these ages are cycles that are happening and will happen. And the more you can become aware, the more you can actually start to use this energy to your own advantage, because there's certain things that you can do today to help you navigate these very changing times. And Yogi Bhajan was a great master who left these teachings for us to be amazing sovereign beings in this time. And there's three things specifically that I want to share with you all today that will help you in really stepping into these times in sovereignty. Number one is very important, and it may feel like harsh, but it's the reality. Number one is really self responsibility. And that means not being a victim, because we have all of the information in front of us. We have these teachings. Kundalini Yoga was once only taught to royalty. Now you can pull up a YouTube video. You can meditate with me, every week as well, and you can actually do the work. Thing with so many people is that they're doing is looking and reading and watching the videos, but they're not processing, digesting the information. They're not actually practicing the work. in the new age of Aquarius, it's all about experience and it's all about you being your own guru. So the only way that I knew that Kundalini Yoga changed my life was because I experienced it, not just because I read a book or went to a pretty class. And so you have to stop being a victim, and you have to really take responsibility for your own healing. You may not be responsible for your trauma, right? We don't know why things happen sometimes. I've done several videos on ancestral karma, which I'll put the description below so you can check it out. Kundalini awakening. There's a lot of things that happen to our life that we wish we could have all the answers as to why they're happening. But what we can do is we can start to create new awareness of the situation through compassion, through forgiveness, and through healing of our inner child. 2020, especially, is the year of the inner child. All of these undealt traumas, all these unprocessed emotions, all these things that happened to you as a child that you were have tucked into your subconscious mind, they're going to be coming out very strongly in 2020 and beyond for you to deal with them. Why? Because the resources and tools are there, the teachers are there, the teachings, the technologies, the information. So we no longer can be victims. We have to take self responsibility and say, like, that may have happened to me, but now I can change the way my life is from here on forward by choosing to heal, choosing to wanting to heal, even having the desire to want that next in my life versus this is how I'll always be. That it takes sovereignty and that takes self awareness. So, first, you have to take self responsibility in this new age of Aquarius to truly be able to do the work to be able to change your life. Number two is super important as well. And you're going to have to open your mind. I think I grew up Catholic and the teachings are very straightforward and there's rules, right? And things of that nature. And that is exactly what was causing me a lot of ailments, and I am totally not against the Catholic religion anymore. I would still totally go to church with my parents and I'm very connected to the Virgin of Guadalupe. She's an archetype to me, she's a guide, an angel for me. But what I'm saying is that, the things about truly being able to be open minded means that if it feels good to you, like, don't be afraid of meditation if it feels good to you just because a book said it or someone told you that. Go experience it. And then if it doesn't feel good, then don't do it again, right? Nothing's going to kill you or change you to that point where, oh my God, now it's over. You really have to learn to stop being so afraid and start experiencing so you can start to create this perfect recipe for your life. So you have to start to go and learning and stepping outside of even the constraints that culture puts for us, right? So that we can truly start to open our minds about healing modalities, spiritual connection, about how to experience this thing we call life. When we start to really open our minds and letting go and trying to control everything, we start to really open up to amazing teachers and teachings that can change our life in minutes and seconds, right? And the more closed minded we are, the more we control. And the more control we are, the more we suffer. Because ultimately, the older you get, the wiser you become, and you truly start to become more humble about life and say, there's a lot of stuff that I really, if everything, I don't have a lot of control in. So you have to start to be more open-minded and really truly asking the universe, asking God to bring you the right teachers, the right teachings, whatever it is for your growth, and they will appear. And then when they're there, show up. Don't listen to that voice of fear that has put you in this constraints, because the ego and the voice of fear will attack you the most when you're ready to grow and when you're ready to heal. It will tell you it's not good for you, or it'll tell you it's not part of your religion, or it'll tell you it's not part of your culture. That's because it doesn't want you to change the program. So the more you can be open minded and trust your intuition, the more you're going to be able to truly invite and welcome and truly vibrate the cosmos in this age of Aquarius. And the last part, which is the most important part, and I'm very happy that more and more people are actually doing this, is actually meditation. Age of Aquarius, really, meditation is something that you must do every day. Just as if you bathe every day your body, you must bathe the mind every day. Through meditation, you're allowing oxygen to go into areas where it's not usually getting oxygen. And because we're processing so much information, it's like a computer that needs oxygen throughout the day. It needs to be upgraded. And the meditations serve as upgrades. They serve as oxygen to areas where your brain usually doesn't get areas. It allows for new neural pathways like neuroplasticity, which has been discovered in science recently to happen in your brain, meaning the brain can regrow itself. It could reprogram itself from its past and from its awareness. It can actually start to, quantum physics shows that you have to believe it first in order for the energy to change in the physical realm. Well, you can start doing that through your meditations. You can train the mind to believe so that you can experience it in this outer world, right? In essence, meditation is really your direct pathway to connection to yourself, spiritually, mentally, and physically, because you can become aware of what your body's telling you at that point. We now know our body's a huge communication tool, and disease is the last place where the emotions show up. So we start to go within and change our inner reality through meditation. Our outer reality starts to change. We take self responsibility, we open our mind, learn to find moments of peace, moments of pure heart coherence, which is connection to our heart, which can create incredible miracles in our life, even seconds where we can actually move our programming, which is our ego that lives in the frontal lobe of our brain, to the back so that we can experience a breath of fresh air, so that we can experience a breath of present moment awareness. Even those moments can change your life significantly. Now, Kundalini Yoga, thankfully, it's a household yoga. It's a yoga that you don't have to, spend 10,000 hours in doing, or you need to have elaborate, things around you to do. Some meditations are only 3 minutes, some are 11 minutes, some 31, 62 minutes, right? And it's something that you can instill in your day to day practice because it's not a magic pill. Holistic healing is all about looking at the root cause of what's causing your physical and emotional elements and really looking at that and healing that energy around that, right? And so, in just a couple of days on Thursday, I'll be sharing with you an amazing meditation that Yogi Bhajan, this our great master from Kundalini Yoga, shared with us that is to be done in the age of Aquarius. It works with our specific energy in this age to assist us in living a higher caliber of life, to truly move energy and allow oxygen to go into the brain where we usually don't get that oxygen. And this meditation, we're only going to be practicing this for 3 minutes. And this is one that you can include in your daily practice, whether you want to do this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. It doesn't matter. Most effect, of course, you do it in the morning. But again, this is all about being able to create those habits day after day that eventually will turn into the most incredible medicine for your body. So join me again in just a couple of days so we can practice this beautiful Kundalini yoga meditation. Overall, the age of Aquarius is an age of opportunity. It's an age of awareness. It's an age of really bringing together the masculine and the feminine energy. It's an age of leaving your mark and legacy through your soul's purpose. And that is my whole and only intention for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining today's Sovereign Woman TV. Of course, please like and subscribe and share with all of the beautiful women in your life. I'll be coming back soon here on Thursday with a Kundalini Yoga meditation to help you digest and process this age of Aquarius. For now, feel free to download one of my complimentary Kundalini Yoga meditations that I checked for you below here in the description. One will help you heal any type of addictions, mental, physical, emotional addictions. 3 minutes a day will save your life. And the other can definitely help you with cold depression, which is what I spoke about here today, which is what's affecting so many human beings in this new age of Aquarius. Satori Wellness, my virtual holistic center where I teach Kundalini yoga classes, Course in Miracles, meditation, and holistic recipes, is not open for a moment for now, but will be opening for soon. So stay tuned, as well as my Sovereign Woman Academy, which is my 11-week healing program for beautiful women like you. For now, feel free to download those meditations below. And again, thank you for liking and subscribing. Sat Nam, beautiful Sovereign Woman, Sat.